Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and today we are here with a video on hopefully what is going to be a quick flip in old school RuneScape, just an amazing way to make some money and teach you guys how to follow along with me. So, I have a lot of platinum tokens in my inventory right now. I'm going to see how much of this I can splash out on some old school RuneScape bonds. So let's go ahead, give ourselves a peek on what we got going on in the Grand Exchange. Old school RuneScape bond, 4.2 mil GE price, medium, but look up here, actively traded price, 4.024. And I don't know if you guys follow the bond market very closely. I do, because I always like these sort of opportunities. 4 mil for a bond is an incredibly cheap price. So right now, over on the old school RuneScape wiki, this is the all-time price graph. So it starts off in early 2015, and now we're all the way at 2022. Golly, that just so strange to say, but looking at it, typically bonds tend up over time as GP becomes worth less, and there are typically better ways to make money and more money in the game, so that's just kind of the way that the game works. But if we look here, essentially in October of 2018, bond prices, they kind of got to a new high point, but 2018, for a good part of the year, they were about 4 mil. And whenever the mobile update hit and a lot of new players came back, whenever new players come back into the game, or whenever there's a big update that people want to get a lot of GP in their accounts for, they'll buy bonds through Jagex to then sell to other players. And so right here, whenever the mobile updates hit and a lot of new people came back, people bought bonds and essentially sold a ton of them on the Grand Exchange. And so they hit their lowest that they've ever hit since, which was 3 mil. So the floor for bond prices is 3 mil, but that's really during an influx of a lot of new players, which doesn't happen quite often. So really the floor price for bonds is, in my opinion, 3.5 mil or so. And so if you look over time, they climbed a lot from that 3 mil point all the way up to 5.5, and then dipped a little bit, went back up. They were reaching highs of 6, closing in on 7 mil during this time. I remember that quite vividly because I could remember everyone complaining. Whenever bond prices go up, you'll know about it, especially if you're in my clan chat, Small Expedient, because people like to complain about things that cost them lots of money. So essentially, bonds typically range between 3 to 7 mil, and really 3.5 to 6 mil. And so if I can buy bonds for 4 mil, I am going to do that every single day of the week. If we look here on the 6-month scale, for the most part of this year, I mean, they were 5 mil for the longest time, and then as high as 5.7 to 6 mil. They dipped down right here. Their low of the year before now was 4.4 mil, and then they quickly went back up to 5.1. And now we are all the way down here at 4.28, and honestly you could get them a lot cheaper if you slow buy them. So that is what I am going to do today. My rationale as to doing this is I believe that with the next update, a lot of people want to get these new items. They want to just be able to get as much GP into their accounts as possible, so they're buying up bonds and then selling them to people, basically buying gold so that they can have these cool things. And so with that, bond prices are suppressed. And also going forward, there's nothing mentioning it here, but Leagues is going to be coming out in 2 weeks. And whenever Leagues comes out, people need new accounts to work on, or they need membership to play Leagues. So there's a lot of demand for bonds. And so in a short amount of time, there's a suppression on bonds, and then there's going to be a desire for bonds. And so here I am going to take advantage and supply those bonds to those people. I will play both sides of this market, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so I'm going to use my platinum tokens on the Grand Exchange right now. Okay, I was wondering how that would work. I was hoping there was no glitches or any glitches in the matrix that would cause me to lose any amount of money, but worked out just fine. So I'm going to go ahead, and the way that I typically play this is I stagger my offers to see where I can kind of buy a good amount at. So I'm just going to start off right now at this price, just a little bit below 4.1 to see if they buy. That was an instant buy, which is such a good sign. Typically the instant buy is 2 to 300k over the instant sell, so I want to be buying for the instant sell price. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in an offer for 39.25. We'll see if that hits. I'm going to stagger this about every 50k, and then I'll be back in a second. So there we go. I've staggered them between 3.975 and 3.675, and I'm just going to go ahead, wait 5, 10, maybe 20 minutes, see which ones buy, and then from there I'll go ahead and think a little bit more about what price I want to go ahead and buy them for. We'll have a good idea as far as what people are willing to sell them for. The one thing that does really impact your margins here and why you want to slow buy these, I would love to just go ahead and pick up a ton at 4.05 mil. I was planning on buying these for this price, so I wouldn't even mind paying that realistically. But whenever you do go to sell them, you have to convert them back to tradable, which is going to cost 10% of the overall GE value. So each one of these is going to cost about 426K. So I do have to take that into account. I need these things to hit close to 4.5 mil, maybe a little bit less, to be able to make my money back. Typically, because of this fact, there's a good margin on bonds in terms of the buying and selling price. So usually if you're patient, you can kind of negate a lot of what cost you have to put in. So I'm going to go ahead, sit back, just throw my feet up, and we'll see where the bonds go. Alrighty, so these bonds are not buying. It is currently Monday. Typically bonds are really cheap on Saturday and Sunday over the weekend, so my buying days are over. I was able to get a good amount of cash splashed onto these bonds. I have 354 mil remaining. Overall in the bank, when I look up the word bond, there are 431 in here along with the 5 extra that I have, so I'm up to 436 in total. Now I cannot currently trade them. They're all untradeable, so I'm gonna have to pick all of them out, buy inventory, go ahead, convert them, and from there I will be paying 431K per bond to be able to turn them into tradable bonds. So just like that, I'll go ahead and confirm this, and with one inventory, there was like, what, 11.5 mil GP taken out of the game, so a nice little coin sink right there. Alright, so I've managed to make all of my bonds tradable now, and I have 166.4 mil remaining from the max cash that I originally had to spend. So doing a little bit of math here, we'll go ahead and figure out what all this means for me. I spent 188 mil on the conversion fees and 1.79 mil on the bonds themselves, which when you add that all together comes out to 4.54 mil spent per bond, which is just subtly over 4.5 mil each, which is not bad at all in my opinion. And as we can see already in a day's time, now there is a weekly cyclical thing that goes on with bonds where they hit their peak prices on Tuesdays. So, I mean, as we can already tell, we're kind of getting back towards what I paid for these bonds, including the conversion fee. Right there, it's at 4.5 mil. And if I go to the one-day graph, you can see that, I mean, at times it's a little bit higher depending on where we're at. Right here, the high price says 4.7 mil. So there are definitely times where I could even be profiting alone just by selling these a day or two later. Of course, I'm not happy with just a little bit of profit and flipping it in a day. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and wait a week or two until Leagues comes out and people are really starting to pay good premiums for bonds. So I'm going to go ahead, log out for a bit, and just let the bonds do their thing. So after I bought the bonds, I ended up going on vacation, go visit some family, and then from there, I ended up getting back and able to sell the bonds a week after Leagues had come out. They were still around the same price that they were whenever Leagues came out, so I didn't really miss any money in that regard. The first day I got back, I ended up staggering some offers between 5 mil and 5.2 mil, kind of finding the range at which the bonds were going to sell, and I was able to offload about half of my bonds for that price. I did start to hit a wall though, and we'll go ahead and talk about that. So, as we can see right here, I've been having some bond offers in for a little over a couple hours, actually most of the day. These are ones that I lowered earlier. Before that, I was trying to sell them for 5 mil. Essentially, when I went to bed last night, I was able to sell a lot of these for about 4.95 to 5 mil or so, and after that, hasn't been so great. I'm going to hold these offers in for a little bit longer to see if any of them do pop, and I might be able to get a little bit more money out of this. However, I've sold most of the bonds. I would say at this point, 60 to 70% of the bonds are sold. Looking at the bank, I have 127 in there along with the ones in my inventory, so a little over 150 left to sell. And I'd like to sell them today. It is currently Wednesday, and so with that, I don't want to go past Wednesday. Typically, the best time to sell bonds is on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, early in the week. That's when they're always at their highest. It's sort of a weekly cycle. If these offers don't end up going through, which I don't think they will, the bonds have been very slow selling today, then I'm just going to go ahead and put them in for 1 GP below med price at the moment. I just sold off one for 1 GP below med price very, very quickly. Hey, there we go. Okay, all right. Might be able to grab another what? Oh, okay. Hey, never mind. I lied. Okay, nice. I guess I might be able to get 50K above med price, it's looking. Oh my god, finally. Let's go. I probably won't be able to get up here. Again, I've had this 4.925 in for 2 hours, and we haven't been able to hit that yet. So I guess I'll have to teeter around this price a little bit more and see what I can get. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be a lot more aggressive and might sell a little bit lower than I'd like tonight, because it's really not worth it for me to hold all the way until next week. Even more selling. Love to see it. But yeah, I don't feel like holding these another week just so I can sell them for 100K more a pop. Really doesn't seem worth it to me. So I'm going to go ahead and get what I can tonight for these. So we'll see how it goes. So at this point, I have sold off all the bonds in my bank, and I'm going to go ahead and collect the final little bit here. So had to get the platinum tokens out because we are now over max cash, which is a good sign. Obviously made a good bit of money, up to 2.193 bill in total. Doing a little bit of math on that, we can find out that I made 216 mil profit from this nice little bond flip that I had, and it netted me about 495K per bond, which is about a 12% return on my money. All in just a couple weeks time where I wasn't even playing the game and I was down on vacation, so very good way to go ahead and spend my time and spend my money. And it's always something I recommend to other people. If you're going to be leaving the game for a significant amount of time, it's definitely best to throw your money in bonds because that will hold value. Of course, if you're only going to be leaving for a couple weeks here or there, it's not the best, but if you can plan it right and you know the economic situation surrounding the bonds, then you might be able to come out like I did today. But all of this money is not just for me. I really don't need this money that much, so I will be giving away 20 bonds to viewers of this video. If you want to be entered, just go ahead and comment your Discord name down below in the comments. On top of that, make sure to join my Discord in the description below, where I can then find you and message you from there. And that's just my way of giving back a small share of what I can to you guys and my appreciation for you guys viewing the videos. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. On top of that, if you want to see more videos like this as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.